MV, and you have just tuned in to WGSN-DB online radio going solo after dark, and you have just tuned into my podcast, Singles Get Real with Dr. MV. And listen, tonight, people, tonight I want to talk about, should you have standards while dating? You know, like, are standards really necessary while dating? You know what I mean? So we're going to talk about that. And of course, you have my opinion. This is my podcast. And I know there's so many other great opinions out there. And pretty much we form our opinions from our experiences, right? So let's talk about it. Let's just dive right on in. Standards, dating, courting, whatever you want to call it. Should you have them? Are you being a bit much if you have standards? Some people kind of, low-key throw shade at you if you have standards. And so at the end of the day, I believe you have to know who you are. Before you make yourself available to the market world, you got to know who you are. If you don't know who you are, guess what? When you get out there, whoever you decide to allow to come into your inner space, take you to dinner, take you bowling, whatever it is, they have the opportunity to define who you are or who you are not. And because you didn't take the time while you were by yourself to discover yourself, you are now subject to their opinion about you, and their opinion happens to be your final bottom line to who you are. And that leads into depression. It leads into all other sorts of issues that we really don't have to deal with when we take the time to know who we are. I always like to think that, and this is just me because I'm single, meaning that I am not married. Listen, I don't care if you've been dating a guy or a girl for 5 years or 10 years. I don't care if you live together. I don't care if you pay bills together. I don't care if you have a child together. If you are not married, you have not exchanged vows before a pastor and before God and before witnesses, you are still single by definition. And if you don't believe me, please check your tax records. Let me know what you checked off so you can get the best benefit return back to you. Did you check the single box or did you check the head of household? Because if you did not check married, you are, my friend, still single. Now, that may step on a couple of people's toes. They may feel a certain kind of way. Why would Dr. MB say that about me? I know he loved me, or I know she loved me. She just saying that because she's single. No, I'm saying that because it's real. I'm saying that because that's just what it is. That's your current status. It doesn't mean that you're always going to be single. And here's the thing. Being single, listen, at the end of the day, being single is what's up. I feel like when you are single, you are so free. Like, you have the opportunity to have time and space on this planet to find out your creational purpose. So many of us are walking around aimlessly, goalless, and we have no idea of why God created us. What is our creational purpose? And so we don't like being by ourselves, because if you don't enjoy your own company, how can you expect a man to come into your space and enjoy being with you? How can you expect a woman to come into your space, sir, and enjoy your company if you don't like being by yourself? See, I can go to the movie by myself and laugh just as loud as I would if I had one of my friends with me. Because I love me. I love being by myself. I love bike riding. I love jogging. I love journaling. I love reading my word. I love reading different books. I love traveling. I love getting my nails done, going shopping. I literally enjoy me. And at the end of the day, I know that I have a lot to offer whoever God decides who my husband will be. But for now, your girl is not looking to get married at this very moment, although marriage is beautiful because God created it between a man and a woman. That's my belief. That's what I'm sticking to. Now, I do desire to get married one day, but that day is not today. You know what I'm married to? I'm married to my purpose. I'm married to moving forward in what God has called me to do in the earth realm. That's what I'm married to. And for me right now, that's the most fulfilling thing that I could possibly grab a hold to is my creational purpose. Like it gives me goosebumps when I think about it. It gives me thrills when I begin to think about traveling and speaking life into other people and going different places and meeting new people, expanding my network. Like I love it. And to think that all of that right now could be compromised by marriage right now, it's just not the right season. It's not the right time. You know what I mean? And so, I had a couple of guys in my life that I've allowed to take up some space and time. But listen, life is a lesson. It teaches you a lot about yourself first, and then it also teaches you what you don't want and what you do want. And I know from those many lessons, Dr. NB is not ready to get married right now. But let's talk about purpose. Let's talk about standards. Let's talk about, okay, if you are deciding to date, right? You're deciding to date. You're deciding to step on out there. You're deciding to Match.com it up. Not literally, but really out there. At the end of the day, what are you looking for? Do you even know what you're looking for? Does he have to be tall? Does he have to be dark? Does he have to be light? Does he have to have a job? Etc. You understand what I'm saying? What are you looking for, sir, from her? Does she have to be employed? Does she have to be short? Does she have to be thick? Does she have to be skinny? What are you looking for? And here's what I want to say. Whatever it is that you are looking for, I believe it's really awesome to add a spiritual component to that standard factor. Why? Because beyond this external shell, which is what we get all goosebumps about, oh, she fine, or oh, he is handsome, there is a spirit inside of that person. And that spirit drives the person's direction in his or her heart. See, out of the mouth, the heart speaks. You feel what I'm saying? So whatever that person is saying to you is coming from their spirit, is coming from their heart. You know what I mean? And so you want to make sure that person is not speaking vile things to you. They're not speaking foul things to you. They're not speaking things that's going to tear you down, but rather they're going to build you up. So yeah, people, it's time to step up our game. It's time to get some standards about ourselves, and it's time to really take a moment and reflect on who you believe will best be an added component, an added partner to your life. And in terms of the direction of where you're going, of course, every relationship that's worth having and holding on to is going to require some compromise. It's going to require some patience. It's going to require just a lot because, listen, marriage is not for the faint heart. It really isn't. And that's why I respect it so much. And listen, that's why I'm not rushing to get married. Although I do want to get married one day, it is so not a rush for me. And if I don't get married, I am so okay with that. You know what I mean? I'm good. But it's not for the faint at heart. You just can't say I do, and then because the person get on your nerves the next day, now you're going to the courthouse to divorce the person. Because people do get on our nerves. We're going to get on one another's nerves. We're going to have living habits that didn't show up while we were dating somebody. So you really don't know the real person until you begin to live with them. When you begin to live with them, you'll find out who they really, really, really are. And for me, I don't believe in shacking up. I don't believe in testing the waters before I actually purchase the whole. No, listen. I believe in doing things God's way, according to the written word of God. That's just where I am. You may believe differently, and that's fine. But we respect one another's belief and standards regarding dating and marriage, etc. So I guess for me, yes, standards, they're a must. There's certain bottom lines that at this point in my life, I'm just not willing to deal with. Maybe in my early 20s as I was still growing and getting to know who I was, maybe into my 30s, okay. But listen, where I am right now, if you're still doing X, Y, and Z, I'm not down with that. You're going to have to pass me on, get with another woman who thinks that that's okay. You guys come together, do what y'all do. But for me, no. Certain things that you have to say, you know what, I'm not dealing with that. I can't deal with that. Now, certain things, yes, I can deal with. We can bridge you out of that. Or certain things about me you may not like. You understand what I'm saying? So I guess what I'm saying is don't force it if it don't fit. And it's okay. Everyone is not meant for everybody. So we have to just be very cognizant of our choices that we make when we're single. I tell you to date your purpose before you date a man or a woman. Know who you are. So when God does send that person in your life, you have something to offer. You're not just a physical body. You're not in total transition. You are stable. You're set. You're ready. You know what I mean? So listen, I'm your girl, Dr. MV. You've just tuned into my podcast, Singles Get Real with Dr. MV. We're listening to WGSN-DB radio, going solo after dark, people. And I'm going to go to a quick commercial break. And when I come back, we're going to continue the discussion of should you have standards while you're dating.
Hello, everybody. This is Madam Coach Correa, Love and Pillow Talk, WGSN-DB radio show. Join me every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern and learn about love relationships and how they relate to your soulmate.
So, hey, everybody, you just tuned back in to the second segment of Dr. MV's podcast, Singles Get Real with Dr. MV and WGSN-DB online radio, going solo after dark. Okay, so during this podcast, we have been talking, or I have been talking rather, about standards and dating. And I thought that it would be beneficial for my listening audience to hear some other views in the particular topic. So this is from Family Life. And they're an online magazine online, and they're talking about having standards in dating. Now, I'm just going to read to you briefly what they're suggesting, and I'm going to chime in. So we're talking about standards. They're saying, okay, do take your time. They're saying when you're deciding that you want to date somebody, take your time. It said most young men and women start looking for love before they can even handle it. Oh, preach. It just is not good to awaken your love before it is ready for the real deal. Dating is a fun but serious activity. Come on, somebody. Like, yes. Listen, how many of us, including myself, have dated prematurely before our time, meaning that we wasn't spiritually ready, we was not emotionally ready to include another person into our lives, but because we were what? Lonely, physically wanting that company, that other voice on the phone, someone to hug us and hold us and kiss and do all those things. We've allowed the person to come into our lives. And guess what? And because we was not spiritually or emotionally sound in that moment or in that season, we've also allowed that person to have wife or husband benefits, meaning that many of us have become more intimate than we should have in that dating scene. And now all of a sudden, we have now inherited what we call, or what I like to call, soul ties. So now the situation didn't work out. Old boy is acting different. Old girl is acting distant. And so now all of a sudden, because you decided to have sex with that person, make love to that person, so you thought it was making love. And now all of a sudden, whatever issues that person had are now your issues. And so now you can't even move forward because that person is still living on the inside of you. And you can't even move forward in your whole life because you messed up on the inside. Wow. But we keep collecting people along the way. We're people collectors. We don't even deal with that. We don't even take a moment, time, and space and say, wow, I'm messed up. The thing that I didn't like about him is now affecting me. Or girl got my mind so twisted, I can't even move forward. You have to take that time, I believe, and deal with it. No new person deserves what the old person did to you. So dating is not for the weak. It's for the serious, for those who have standards, for those who know exactly what they're looking for. If you call yourself getting with somebody and you ask them what are they looking for, and they just say, well, I'm just out here. I'm not taking it seriously. I'm just kind of just getting to know people. Run as fast as you can, faster than a gingerbread man. And the reason why I say run is because that person is letting you know off the gate, listen, I'm not trying to get married. And I don't have any standards. And I'm going to use you as much as you let me use you. And when I'm done using you, it is what it is. Run. All right. Family life. What else are they talking about? They're saying, okay, do serve others. Do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit. I like that. I think a more mature way to learn how to know others and get along with them is to serve them. Oh, this is so good. Love is very selfless. It's not selfish. It doesn't force its own way. It's not impatient. You understand what I'm saying? So if someone is in your life or is in your space and you're getting like red flags, even yellow flags, of them being impatient or them being kind of abusive in their tone with you, please turn the opposite direction quickly, because they're letting you know without really coming out to let you know they got issues. And if you continue to allow that person stay in your life, sooner or later you're going to see the full manifestation of those issues, and you don't want that to happen. So you got to learn how to pay attention to those red flags. Stop thinking you can change the red flag into a green flag when God says, I'm not even in that. And move on. They're saying, learn how to serve others instead of always thinking about how we can get that special someone to like us. Why not just try to be a good friend to a lot of people and let God, in His time, set us up with someone to love? We don't want God to play Match.com. Let's just keep it 100. We don't want God to really play Match.com for us, because we want to control our dating prospects. We want to control the situation, people. We don't think that God really know what we like. We think God gonna hook us up with somebody that's unattractive, that is boring, and that's always quoting scriptures. Listen, fellas, if you like a woman that's thick and you like a woman that's kind of busty at the top, and you like a woman that has a spicy personality, and whatever it is that you like, listen, if you a man of God and you seek Him specifically about the type of woman you like, I believe God's going to give that woman to you. It's just as simple as that. But we don't trust God to do it. There's a certain type of man that can really, really get my attention. You know what I mean? But beyond the physical, it has to be a spiritual and emotional connection. If we are void spiritually or void emotionally, he's just a blank, empty shell. He a good-looking shell, but he has nothing to offer, Dr. Envy, unfortunately. Moving forward, this family life is saying, do watch your heart. Proverbs 4:23 is the first scripture, which says, watch over your heart with all diligence, for from it flows the issues of life. So see, people speak out of their heart. That's what I said earlier. Out of the mouth, the heart speaks. Listen to those red flags. You got to pay attention, people. Quit thinking that we can change everybody, and get out while you can. They also go on to say, do have many guy and girlfriends. One of the problems with exclusive dating is that except for marriage, there isn't a lot of good that can come out of it. Let's say some good guy girlfriends start going out and then begin dating each other exclusively. That's about all they do. They just hang out with one another. The guy loses all his friends who are guys, and the girl begins to neglect her friends who are girls. Before long, all they have is one another. That really isn't healthy in junior high or even in high school. Who wants to just have one good friend? I've seen this. People, listen, they get in these relationships and they forget about their family. They forget about everybody. All you see is those two together all the time. Listen. Have other people continue to pay attention to your other friends, to your family, to even yourself. Some people get so involved in that other person, they lose themselves in that other person because they don't even know who they are. They're lost, clingy, always needing you to call them, always needing you to just be around, always needing to hear from you every single day. Listen. I don't think that that's healthy communication. It's kind of stalkerish to me. I think really healthy communication. Listen, if you're both busy, you're leading busy, productive lives, why do we have to talk every day? Why can't you let me miss you or you know what I mean? Like, come on. You don't have to always be under the person that you're dating. It becomes played out. Really, it does. Because it just leads into other physical, sexual things. You think people just going to, how many walks in a park you going to take? How many conversations over the dinner table you going to have before the sexual tension builds up? And don't tell me, we're waiting. No, you're not. You are getting it in as much as you possibly can. Because if you're always together all the time, sex is going to pop up. Okay, that's just at the end of the day. I know because I've been there. I've been in that life. So I'm not just talking from just reading something. I'm talking from my life experiences. All right, family life. Let's see. They go on to say, okay, it's cool to group date. I think that's pretty cool too, to go on a group date. It kind of shows a reflection of what type of friends he has or what type of girlfriends you have. It's good for both of you to kind of check out who are you allowing in your social circle? Because that kind of spills the beans about who you really are and your character. Because if you're telling me that you love God and this and that, and the friends you hang around, they cursing, going to strip clubs, and nah, bruh, it's something similar that you like. And don't tell me, well, they do it, I don't. No, we're not kids. It's something that's inside of you that's connecting with what they're doing. It's dirty. Anyway, long story short, people, at the end of the day, regarding this podcast, please consider developing some standards as it pertains to your life, as it pertains to dating, because at the end of the day, you have a creational purpose. God created you with a purpose, and it would not serve you any good to continue to live, move, and breathe daily without investigating of what that purpose is. And let me help you. When you really begin to zoom in and tap in on that creational purpose that only you were created to do and function in, you're going to experience a power that you've never, ever experienced before from the inside out. Your mind is going to end up becoming more sound. You're not going to be so easily tossed to and fro with the opinions of people who have no roots in your life. You feel what I'm saying? So learn how to be by yourself while you are not married. And learn how to not give marital benefits while you are dating. Men, keep your penis in your pants. I said that. Women, keep the clam closed. I said that. He is not worthy of you in that manner. Sir, she is not worthy of you in that manner. Keep your body parts to yourself and honor God with your body. And ask God to help you while you are dating. Get some direction about your life. If marriage is your goal, then yes, begin to ask God to send that woman, send that man to you. If marriage is not your goal, quit being selfish and don't make yourself available to the dating scene because you have no end goal in mind and you are using people and you're selfish. So stop it. I'm telling you, it's time to start leading our lives with intention. Because if we don't, what's the purpose of leading life, period? Life begins to just lead you down some pathways you really don't know how to handle. Get some standards about yourself, people. God has the best in store for you. My name is Dr. Michelle Vaughn. You can find out more about me by going onto my website at www.drmv.net. You have just tuned in to WGSN-DB online radio, Going Solo After Dark, people. My show, my podcast, Singles Get Real with Dr. MV. Hey, if you have any questions for me, email those questions to me at drmvspeak@gmail.com. drmvspeak@gmail.com. I will not put your name on blast. It's all anonymous. And I will do my best to answer your questions as honestly as I possibly can. I pray you have a blessed night. I pray you have a blessed week. Until next podcast, God bless you. Peace. Hey.